Okay, now there are other movements also. Okay, now they are little slow movement. We were talking just now of the movements which brings rapid change in the structure in the face of the earth. Now there are certain slow movements of the earth also which causes some change on the face of the earth, like it creates fold mountains or fault mountains or faulting. All right. Now this we were talking about the internal forces which act, internal forces makes the land level. Okay. Now internal forces, sudden movements like the volcanic eruption, earthquake and landslides. Now we will be dealing with the external forces. All right. Now external means outside of the earth. All right. Now the forces which act on the due to the external forces are like the river, work of the river, work of a glacier, wind, underground water. Okay. Now this when act on the surface of the earth, they also change the form of the structure of the earth. And most importantly, the work of these agents are that they make the land surface level. Okay, they make it level and they make it flat. Most of the work of these agents are. All right. So here we have seen the external forces, the internal forces and their activities. Now the main topic that we are touching today is a major land. We know how they were formed, okay, because of the tectonic movements, internal forces and external forces acting upon the structure of the earth brings the change in the face of the earth. Now the landforms have been divided into 4 major categories, okay, namely the mountains, then the plain, the plateaus and the valleys. Now how are they differentiated among each other? Now on the basis categorized on the basis of their height from the mean sea level and the shape and the slope. Okay, the shape and slope and height. Now whenever you measure the landform, it is always taken from the mean sea level, the height is measured. Okay, this gives you the accurate height of the landform. Now let's see the first landform, major landform as mountain. And what are mountains? Okay, I am sure everybody has visited a hill station, okay, or experienced the stay over there. But did you ever think in your mind how were these mountains formed? Okay, if we define mountain, it is a natural elevation. Naturally it has raised up from the surrounding areas. All right. Now you will never see a mountain as a single. As a child also, when you drew a mountain, you never drew one mountain like this, right? You drew a chain of mountains. Okay. So we know that mountains are formed in continuous chains. All right. And they cover 1/5 of the lithosphere. Okay, as I told you, what is lithosphere? The land part of the earth. Okay, land part of the earth. So it consists 1/5 part or portion of the lithosphere is mountainous region. Okay, and we have chains of mountains, and these mountains are not single, they go on continuous patterns. Now one good example of mountain chains are the Himalayan mountains of Asia. Okay, very famous mountain. And when you look at the Himalayan mountains, it has high peaks. Okay, and we know that Mount Everest is the highest peak of the earth, all right, and it has a height of about 8,800 meters. Okay, what is the height of Mount Everest? 8,850 meters above mean sea level, that is the height. And most of the mountains have an average height of about 4,000 meters, all right. Now, based on their origin and form, there are 3 types of mountains, all right. Now, the mountains are, one mountain is of the elevated mountains. Elevated mountains, then we have volcanic mountains, then we have the last one as residual mountains. Residual mountains. Okay. Now, in the elevated mountains we have the fold, and fault mountains, all right. Now, mountains are of 3 types. One is the elevated mountain, and in the elevated mountain we have got the fold mountains and the fault mountain. The second type of mountain is a volcanic mountain, and the third type is residual mountain. Okay. Now, let us see the elevated mountain. This kind of mountains are mostly formed due to the pressure, compressional pressure. Okay. Now, if you see, I have a paper over here, all right. Okay, just to give you a small illustration of how fold mountains are created. All right. Now, if you give pressure on this paper from both the sides, okay, what happens? The middle portion is rising, right? Okay. So, this is a compression pressure acting upon the earth's surface. Now, the raised portion that you see here, these are the fold mountains. Okay. Now, it does not happen in a few hours or few years. It takes millions of years to form this kind of fold mountains. Again, I am showing you how fold mountains are formed on the earth's surface. When the pressure, compressing pressure from both the sides acts upon the surface of the earth, this kind of fold mountains are created. Okay. And examples of such mountains are the Himalayas, okay, the Alps, Rockies and the Andes. Okay. So, these mountains are young fold mountains, all right. Now, and when there is this is a fold mountain. Okay. Now, fault, what happens faults? When there is a break, okay, suppose there is a break, okay. Now, this is a crack of both the sides, okay. Now, this two move away and this portion is made to rise up again, okay. This portion is made to rise up again. This kind of a structure helps in the formation of fault mountains, okay, or sometimes this one increases, so this one forms a valley, all right. So, this is an example. I am just trying to show you how a fold mountain and fault mountain are made on the surface of the earth, and this type of formation takes very long time. It is a long process. Okay, so and examples of a fault mountain are the Vosges and the Black Forest. Okay, now next type of mountain is the volcanic mountain. Now, volcanic mountains, alright, let me explain a little more about the fold mountains, then we go into the volcanic mountains. Okay, now the age of these mountains are not more than 25 million years. Okay, so they are young mountains formed, and as told you examples, the fold mountain examples can be the Himalayan mountains of Asia, then we have the Alps of Europe, then we have Andes of South America, and Rockies of North America. Okay. Now as we know, the plates collide. As I was showing you, these are the plates. When the fold mountains were created, I was showing you those are the plates which collide upon each other, and they allow the portion in the middle to rise up, okay, forming it. And the features of these fold mountains are that they have a conical peak, okay. The top is conical, and it has steep sides, okay, and it has deep valleys also. So these are some of the features of the fold mountains created, all right. Now, and same is the block mountain, as I told you, the fold or the block mountains. Now if there is a crack on the surface of the earth, okay, the plates push up to form mountains, or sometimes they move away, forming a valley. An example is Rhine Valley between the Vosges and Black Forest. Okay, so these are some of the examples. Now let's go to the volcanic mountain, okay. Now, or accumulation. Volcanic mountain is mostly accumulation. 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 Okay. Now, when the rocks in the interior of the earth, okay, I am sure you have some knowledge about how a volcanic eruption takes place, right? Okay. So when the volcanic eruption takes place, the rocks which are inside the earth, what happens to them? They melt, okay, and they form magma. Now, due to the pressure of the gas which is inside the earth, it creates a vent, opening, okay. It creates an opening, a mouth, from which it is pushed up, or it erupts in the form of volcanic eruption, okay. And when the magma throws itself outside, okay, along with some rock particles and ashes, it is known as lava. And over the time, what happens? It cools down slowly.